Olivia Vernon's new contract with the Giants that contains $52 million guaranteed created as much sticker shock as any around the NFL this offseason. And that's just from us observers. We'll obviously never know what it feels like to write or cash that kind of check, but we feel comfortable predicting that at the end of 5 years, no one's going to be rushing to call Vernon's deal a great value. But what about those who've been relatively underpaid in recent years? No, we're not wondering because as journalists we can relate, and certainly we don't feel the need to shed any tears for multimillionaires. We just thought it'd be interesting in the context of this wild spending offseason to shine a light on the guys who've outperformed their deals and the shrewd GMs responsible for making them happen. Hi, I'm Arkush with Pro Football Weekly, and here are 5 players who have vastly surpassed the expectations that accompanied their current non-rookie contracts. Number 5, Kurt Coleman, Panthers. Perhaps David Gettleman couldn't stomach paying Josh Norman the $14 million he'd need to when he rescinded the franchise tag because Coleman led the NFC in interceptions for the conference champs on just a 2-year, $2.8 million deal with $600,000 guaranteed. No, there's not really a connection here, but it does provide an interesting snapshot of the way Gettleman prefers to build his secondary. Coleman's a career journeyman who blossomed at age 27 on his 4th team. Sure, he was the beneficiary of the Panthers' explosive front, but with another season of ball hawking and dependability, Coleman's bank account should benefit next spring. Number 4, Jabaal Sheard, Patriots. Signed to a 2-year, $11 million deal last offseason, Sheard erupted for 8 sacks and 4 forced fumbles with the Patriots, helping make Chandler Jones expendable in a trade and becoming a key cog for the NFL's number 2 pass rush. Sheard was always underrated in Cleveland, but leave it to Bill Belichick to shrewdly swoop in for the Browns cast-off and unlock his talent. Sheard is just 27 and will receive a lot more than $5 million guaranteed soon, but his bargain bin price tag right now could allow New England the flexibility it needs to lock up one of its star linebackers very shortly. Number 3, Mike Daniels, Packers. Daniels and Denver Broncos defensive tackle Derek Wolfe must be wondering what they were thinking agreeing to contract extension in season last year. Daniels, Green Bay's defensive MVP, received just $12 million guaranteed on his 4-year deal, or a little more than a quarter of what Malik Jackson pocketed. He was both the most consistent performer and leader of Don Capers' group, and Daniels has improved each season since Ted Thompson found him in round 4 in the 2012 draft. Unlike Sheard, Daniels won't hit the market again before he turns 30, but if he remains on this trajectory, the Packers will again be rewarding the interior wrecker well in advance of the 2020 season. Speaking of interior wreckers, the Seahawks' Michael Bennett signed a 4-year deal including $16 million guaranteed just 2 off seasons ago, after getting $4.8 million in his first year in Seattle in 2013. He's been the team's best defensive lineman each of the past 3 years, and although it's Bennett who failed to maximize his worth, there's little question what he does to maximize the ruckus created by the Seahawks defense. Bennett's blend of speed and strength to find the backfield from inside or outside is often the first factor offenses must consider when playing Seattle. Despite threatening a holdout last offseason and firing his agent in January, Bennett said he'll be in camp despite being unhappy about his deal. Knowing the outspoken and boisterous Bennett, this likely won't be the last we hear of it. Number 1, Emmanuel Sanders, Broncos. Before taking another dig at John Elway for his, shall we call it, tight budget approach this offseason, remember the magic acts he pulled with Wolfe and Sanders. Since signing a 3-year deal with just $10 million guaranteed in Denver, Sanders has 177 catches, 2,539 yards, and 15 touchdowns. That surpassed his first 4 years in Pittsburgh and compares favorably to both Jeremy Maclin and Torrey Smith, each getting deals with more than $22 million guaranteed last offseason. Sanders can also return punts, and he won't disappear in the playoffs like Demaryius Thomas this year. Well, that's the list. What do you think? Let us know, good or bad, in the comments and by liking and sharing. For Pro Football Weekly, I'm Arkush, and I hope you enjoyed today's game plan.